An interesting Sun team featuring Cantoform Exeggutor alongside Lightning Rod Clear Amulet Rhyperior was able to place 31st on the last Stadium Ladder season. We're going to be trying out this team and seeing how well it can perform. This Sun team has a lot of tricks and features a Choice Scarf Koraidon alongside many others. Let's break it down. First up, we have the Choice Scarf Koraidon with the ability to set up the sun and boost its physical attack damage output with the Fire Terror type to boost up the power of its Flare Blitz in the sun, alongside a good defensive typing against the Ice and the Fairy type moves that threaten Koraidon. With U-Turn, Collision Course, Dragon Claw, and Flare Blitz. Yeah, Choice Scarf Koraidon. Definitely something that will be shocking, especially because normally you would expect Clear Amulet or Life Orb. A Choice Scarf, just for a faster mode, really allows the Koraidon and Walking Wake, for instance, in Sun to be able to outspeed really fast Pokemon like the Calyrex Shadow Rider, double tap it for a knockout, and yeah, again, it can really catch them off guard, especially since most players don't expect the Dragon type move on Koraidon. You do have access to that Dragon Claw to be able to hit the opposing dragons like the Miraidon and more, so definitely can catch off guard, especially the U-turn for some decent chip damage thanks to the ability boost. And then for the EV spread, it's pretty simple. Max attack 148 with an adamant nature. I think this is supposed to speed creep something in the base 100s, but there really isn't too many relevance. Maybe there's just a speed creep on like some of the Miraidons that are Choice Scarf, because normally Choice Scarf Miraidon is either max speed or they tend to go bulky with not as much speed. This will still be able to outspeed a majority of the Choice Scarf mons out there in the format, the base 100s especially, and then just having some HP so it can actually switch into attacks, which is pretty solid. Across the board, it is more of a fast offensive mod that supports the team with setting up the sun and can get a fast, good hit. Next Pokemon we have is the Life Orb Walking Wake with the Photosynthesis that gives it a speed booster when the sun is up with the Water Terror type, just to power up its water type moves even further and get rid of that dragon typing, so you can be able to actually take like a Dazzling Gleam and resist the Glacial Lances, which is pretty nice, with Hydro Steam, Draco Meteor, Snarl, and Weather Ball. No Protect, just going all on the offense. The Snarl with the fast speed Photosynthesis is actually able to help out against Calyrex Shadow Rider, against the Lunalas, against sometimes the Miraidons out there. So it's very helpful, very powerful Draco Meteor and Hydro Steams, especially the Hydro Steam boosted in the sun. And Weather Ball, of course, turns into a fire move. It is the strongest access that Walking Wake does have access to that fire type attack, and does do quite a bit of damage. EV spread wise, it is just going with max speed with the Photosynthesis, just to get the make sure that the Walking Wake is able to get the speed booster, and then you have a good amount of special attack. This one opting for a little bit of bulk. I'm not exactly sure on the calc, but 52 in HP and the rest into the defenses. Across the board, Walking Wake is just supposed to be a very hard hitter, and combined with the Koraidon could be like a great lead opener for some pretty strong damage, or a great endgame cleaner in the sun. Next Pokemon we have is the Focus Sash Kanto Exeggutor with the Chlorophyll ability, which is able to double the speed when the sun is up with the Psychic Terror type, just to power up its Expanding Force even further, with Expanding Force, Grass Knot, Trick Room, and Sleep Powder. Across the board, Exeggutor is a very interesting mod in close team sheets, mainly because Exeggutor does have some pretty good abilities when there is sun involved. It does get access to Chlorophyll, which of course doubles the speed, and it does get access to Harvest for a Citrus Berry combination, or just being able to stack Citrus Berries. Its defensive typing isn't the greatest, so Chlorophyll does make the most sense, and it is one of the more threatening ones because you do have that option for a fast Sleep Powder in the sun, and it is very threatening. The Expanding Force and Psychic Terrain will also do a good amount of damage because this thing has a really good special attack stat of base 125, so it can actually hit pretty hard. The Grass Knot, of course, is just able to break through like the Kite Ogres and any Terra Water Cali Ices out there, and it is able to actually go for Trick Room. And you might be thinking, why is a Trick Room Exeggutor when this is a Exeggutor that is max speed with a Focus Sash? And that's, again, close team sheet can catch you off guard. You can go for a Trick Room if you need to set up with Exeggutor. You can lead things like into the Exeggutor. You don't even need the sun, because Exeggutor is not the fastest Pokemon, even with a max speed investment. It needs the sun to be fast. So if you actually just go with like an Exeggutor Entity mode and go for like a Follow Me Trick Room into Expanding Force, it actually can outspeed a lot of things under that Trick Room. EV spread wise, going with a Timid Nature to outspeed everything like the Calyrex Shadow Rider under that Chlorophyll, and then just max special attack, of course. That's pretty much all you need. Next Pokemon we have is the female Entity with the safety goggles, making the Entity immune to any of the powder moves, especially that Amoonguss Spore, with the Psychic Surge ability to summon the Psychic Terrain with the Fairy Terror type, which is just a really good natural defensive typing, being immune to Dragon type moves and resisting the fighting and dark coverage out there. So this Entity has Follow Me, Trick Room, Heal Pulse, and Shadow Ball. Now, normally we do see Follow Me, Trick Room. It's what Entity loves to do. The move we usually see on Entity, if it's an attacking move, is usually like Alluring Voice, Dazzling Gleam, or Psychic. Shadow Ball is an interesting one. Normally in the lead, you think, oh, Entity Calyrex Ice Rider can't threaten Calyrex Shadow Rider if you're fighting it. I don't have to Terra, but that Shadow Ball can make it very difficult for the Shadow Rider players. The Shadow Ball can actually chunk the Calyrex Shadow Rider for a ton of damage, playing them in range of Glacial Lands. So that's something that you can do. And then the Heal Pulse, because this Calyrex Ice Rider is actually a really bulky set, being able to heal the Calyrex Ice Rider in the Rhyperior mode, so they are able to last around on the field. EV spread wise, it is a max HP, max defense Entity, because it does have really good natural special defense anyway, so you want to make sure you take the physical hits, like the Body Press from Zamazenta, Surging Strikes if you fight a Rain team from Urshifu, just being able to stick around. And yeah, that is Entity setting up the Psychic Terrain, being a immunity to the Astral Barrage, so it can switch in. It is a pretty strong mon here. And also Shadow Ball can be able to hit like Lunala, which can be a little bit annoying to deal damage to with this team. Next Pokemon we have is the Psychic Seed Calyrex Ice Rider with the As One ability with the Water Terra type. That is just really good against really strong fire and water coverage. With the Psychic Seed, especially that special defense boost in the Psychic Terrain, is going to be allowing the Calyrex Ice Rider just to be really able to tank the attacks. Trick Room, that is able to set up speed control. Glacial Lands, a strong ice type move. Leech Seed for recovery. So Imprison's a pretty interesting move on this set. It's mainly for being able to imprison the Glacial Lances from opposing Calyrex Ice Rider, because otherwise they can't really damage Rhyperior. A lot of the Calyrex Ice Riders in the format have been running Leech Seed, and it is really able to be disruptive, because if you imprison with Leech Seed and Glacial Lands, opposing Calyrex Ice Riders are basically not able to do much, and that really just opens up the doors to other Pokemon like the Rhyperior not having to take much damage unless they have high horsepower. So it really is able to help out in opposing Calyrex Ice Rider matchups. And that Psychic Seed is just able to tank attacks from really bulky special attackers like the Koraidon, like the Calyrex Shadow Rider, like the Kyogre. So that Psychic Seed can allow this Calyrex Ice Rider be really tanky and just take the attacks pretty much with ease, especially with the Heal Pulse Entity to be able to set up. EV spread wise, this is a very interesting Calyrex Ice Rider. It's impish nature, so it has a really high physical defense stat, a good amount of HP. It is near max HP with 196 special defense. With the Psychic Seed, it is meant to be a wall. This Calyrex Ice Rider is just super hard to break through with that Leech Seed combination. And the idea is you have some pretty fast offensive mons. You do have stuff like the really strong Life Orb Walking Wake. You have the Koraidon. You have the Exeggutor with Expanding Force in the Psychic Terrain. And Rhyperior is able to do a lot of damage. Ideally, you want something that's able to tank the attacks, maybe chip them away to put them in range of those attacks, or just be something that can really clean up weakened foes in the end, get those attack boosts, and it can still be able to reverse sweep. So as this Calyrex Ice Rider has some speed in order to be able to outspeed opposing Calyrex Ice Riders for the Imprison strategy. And yeah, this is a very unique Calyrex Ice Rider set. Final Pokemon on the team, the Clear Amulet Rhyperior, which prevents its stats from getting dropped from opposing Pokemon with the Lightning Rod ability that is able to draw away electric type moves, and the Fairy Terror type, which is able to make it immune to the Draco Meteors as well as resist the fighting type attacks. You have high horsepower, Rock Slide, Stone Edge, and Protect. So Rhyperior, very interesting. It has a really high attack stat, base 140. I thought it was 145 originally, but it's base 140. It's still a really hard hitting mon. It is able to do a ton of damage across the board. And of course, the Clear Amulet does make it so in Trick Room you're not getting like Intimidate attack drop, because you also have the Calyrex Ice Rider that would be dropped by Intimidate. If Rhyperior also got dropped by Intimidate, it would be pretty hard to actually be able to sweep under that Trick Room. So Clear Amulet for those Intimidates is actually pretty valuable. High horsepower going to be your single target ground type attack, and it's not running Earthquake because you don't have Protect on the Calyrex Ice Rider, and actually you're not really running Protect on any of these mons for the most part, as you have Rock Slide, able to just be a spread rock type move. Of course, has a chance to flinch if the Rhyperior is faster. Stone Edge, which is pretty interesting, but just a heavy hitting rock move in case you want a single target really powerful attack onto a flying type or a levitating mon. And then Protect. EV spread wise, max attack, and then a good amount of HP and special defense. The HP allows the Rhyperior to get some extra grassy terrain recovery with a number that's basically close to a number divisible by 16, which is really nice. An extra point because of stuff like Ruination, making it so that if Rhyperior takes a Super Fang or Ruination, it'll be 51%. And you still want a good amount of special defense on the Rhyperior to be able to tank stuff like the Dazzling Gleams and potentially Draco Meteors, depending on the Miraidon set that you do encounter. But that is the idea of this Rhyperior, is to be a good answer to the opposing Miraidons, while the Cali Ice is preventing the Calyrex Ice Riders on their side from going for Glacial Lances and Rhyperior, usually one of their main modes of getting rid of them. So how to use the team? There's a lot of different mix-ups you have with this team. Of course, you have like the size spam modes. You have the NDD Calyrex Ice Rider. Of course, it's a classic Follow Me Trick Room, although this one's a little bit different. You have Heal Pulse for the Calyrex Ice Rider. It's a bulky set. You could just try to fire off damage immediately to set up a Trick Room, maybe Rhyperior in the back, or you just lead it so Calyrex Ice Rider is able to get some good chip damage, and then you outspeed with Koraidon Walking Wake in the end game. You have the NDD Exeggutor with Expanding Force combo with the NDD, and of course you do have that Trick Room mode as well. You also have things like the Koraidon Walking Wake as a fast Sun mode, or Koraidon Exeggutor also can work with a Sleep Powder or fast offense with the team. You also have like leads that you can just mix up. For instance, you have the Calyrex Ice Rider plus Exeggutor, and Exeggutor plus Walking Wake, because you have that mind game of switching out into Koraidon, and you know, fast Sleep Powder Chlorophyll activation or a really strong hit from Walking Wake is definitely a play. You could also just leave Koraidon Calyrex Ice Rider and you turn out into like Rhyperior or the NDD. There's quite a few things you can do with this team, and can be a little bit overwhelming at sometimes, because you do have to make some more commitments, because you only have the Rhyperior with Protect, so you got to be cautious. But this team does like playing offensive. If you'd like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be linked in the description down below. And let me know in the comments down below, do you think the choice items on Koraidon are underrated? Because obviously Choice Specs Miraidon doesn't have to fear Intimidate, but I feel like Choice Scarf Koraidon and Choice Band Koraidon actually do have a place somewhere and could actually be utilized a bit more. I think they actually do have a bit of potential in the format, but who knows? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's get started and play some games. All right, we have Lunala, Miraidon, Incineroar, Urshifu, Grimmsnarl, and the Ursaluna. Did I say Ursaluna twice? I don't know. But basically, this is the team that won the first regional championship of Reg I. I wonder their sets differences, because they always have this difference. We've seen this build usually with Whimsicott more commonly recently. However, it does make sense. How do I want to approach this? Because Rhyperior is really good if I set it up properly. There's a lot that could go right and a lot that could go wrong. Yeah, I want to bring the Exeggutor. I'm trying to figure that out. Rhyperior is probably being brought. Is it Koraidon Exeggutor? It's like okay. It's not like amazing. I just want to make sure I have pressure against the Lunala. That's a big deal to me. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna do. This is tough actually. I'm trying to figure out what the best lead is here. I think it's just Cali Ice. No, actually, I think it's Exeggutor, Koraidon, Rhyperior, Cali Ice. That's what I'm gonna say. I could bring the Walking Wake. I know I definitely could bring the Walking Wake. However, it's kind of weird because there's so many different things I have to keep in mind. The Miraidon, especially, even if it can't go for electric moves, is still really threatening. We're gonna see Miraidon and Incineroar. Okay. Versus Exeggutor and the Koraidon. Interesting. There's so much that could go here. So much that could go wrong here. I do have the Trick Room option. I could see them just fire off Draco Meteor, which I think they should realistically. They go for Dazzle is interesting, but I don't think it's likely. I feel like the Inity switch is really obvious, but I'm not 100% certain. I did not bring the Inity though. We're gonna go for Trick Room, I think, and we're gonna go for close. Collision Course should KO the Ensign. It's kind of close, but yeah, I think we're gonna Collision Course Trick Room. I don't think they're gonna fake out, or at least fake out my Exeggutor. We're gonna see a Terra, which is probably the Miraidon. Yeah, they go for Terra, go for the Fairy, or they went for Electric Terra. I guess they don't want to take a Dragon move, which is fair, but okay. They actually did fake out, which I'm surprised by. Okay. Did they Draco? Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Okay, I don't mind this. I get a free switch into Rhyperior, and Rhyperior is in a very, very heavy committing position where I just get a free high horsepower and a free, I guess, Leaf Storm to cover for the Lunala switch. Yeah, I just go on a Rhyperior. I just click the high horsepower here. It's pretty safe. And I think I'm just going to go for a Leaf Storm. Or not Leaf Storm, but Grass Knot. It does punish the... high horsepower should KO instant, right? I'm like pretty sure. I guess I could double the instant since it's not a terrible play either. I am going to actually go for that. I'm going to go for high horsepower Grass Knot in case they switch to instant. No switches. I get a free high horsepower that did not KO instant. That wasn't even close. Rhyperior! What are you doing? And we get burned because of it. Why? They just fire Draco Meteor again? They both switched. Why? Okay. Sure. And I lose my sash on Exeggutor. I don't KO the instant. I mean, I prefer not KOing the instant, but... alright. Not ideal. But I guess it's still playable. I'm gonna Grass Knot, I suppose, and I'm just gonna Rock Slide. No switches. I get a free Rock Slide off. I don't really get the KO into Koraidon. That really is not doing any damage. Wow. I thought Rhyperior would do more damage. You get a flinch, which is nice. I don't know what they were doing though. Draco Meteor again. I do get a free Grass Knot. I get some chip, I suppose. All right. Not the worst, not the best. That's bear. Yep, that's the bear. That's fine. They're probably going to protect. So I have a feel. You know what? I'm just going to go for high horsepower into the Koraidon. They stayed in. Did they Facade? Facade doesn't KO Exeggutor. A Headlong Rush. Okay. But Koraidon doesn't KO Exeggutor, I'm pretty sure. What is this game, man? Snarl. Okay, that's fine. That actually works out pretty decently for me. Because I do reverse the Trick Room. I do get in my Calyrex, and I can spam Grass Knot Glacial. Yeah, that's pretty good, actually. So we get in my Calyrex, I just get to go for Glacial Lance and a Grass Knot, and we're pretty good. Also, the terrain's going to expire from them soon. I guess, like, on the downside, they could keep Koraidon around, so that could be awkward, but I think this is still okay. We're going to go for a Grass Knot into the Koraidon, and we're going to go for Glacial Lance. Yeah. They're not protecting. Why are they not protecting? I don't know what this game was. I don't know what this game was. There's no protect. My damage was like way different than I thought. I'm gonna have to recheck like some of these spreads. I'm like, what? Glacial Land's gonna come out, knock out the bear. Now it's Lunala in. The Lunala cannot win by itself, I'm pretty sure, as long as I don't miss like every single Leech Seed. Sun fades. I guess if it's Meteor Beam, Lunala, but it should be Electric Seed on this build. Yeah, they had Lunala. I'm just shocked they didn't go Lunala and Protect. I felt like that was super safe. I don't know why they didn't do it, but yeah, we go for Terra Water. We go for Leech Seed. Let's see. Let's see. Because they gotta respect the Sleep Powder, or they could try to dodge every Sleep Powder, but they won't pressure the Calyrex enough. Because Moongeist Beam shouldn't be a KO, or to a KO, I think. Yeah, I just take it really well. Okay, we missed the first Sleep Powder. Did we miss the Leech Seed too? Okay, we're just golden at this point. Okay, perfect. I guess we just Trick Room of Egg at this point in Glacial because At this point, like, if they are going to go for Sleep Powder Mist every time, it's better to get the Trick Room up for Cali Ice, I suppose. So we just go for Glacial Lands and we Trick Room, and then we should win because Moongeist Beam crit won't knock me out. They go for the Moongeist Beam into my Exeggutor to take the knockout to avoid the Sleep Powder. But I think at that point, you kind of have to risk Sleep Powder Mist because Glacial Lands, single target? That's going to do a lot of damage. Ready to expect to protect, but this Cali Ice does not have protect. As Glacial Lands, as you can see, just fires off so much damage. And now the Lunala cannot one-shot this Cali Ice. And I will be able to survive any hit, even involving a critical hit, because we do have everything that is necessary. They have healing on the Lunala, should be fine. They go for the Moonblast into the Cali, but yeah, as you can see, it's just not doing any damage. So Glacial Lands will take the knockout, and yeah, that's a strange first game. That's a strange first game. I'm gonna have to double check on everything because I was like, okay, I thought I would do a lot more damage to the Incineroar since I'm not intimidated. I thought like the Clear Amulet would allow us to get the KO. Then I wasn't expecting like everything like, hey, they went for the fake out into the Koraidon plus the Terra Electric, which kind of surprised they decided to make that play because I could go like Indie for one of the slots and do something else, but all right, we have Calyrex, Ice Rider, Miraidon, Urshifu, Amoonguss, Landorus Incarnate, and Incineroar. I'm actually pretty high up on ladder. I don't know if I would get rank 1 if I win this, but we'll try. There is the Calyrex, Ice Rider, Miraidon, Urshifu, Amoonguss, Incineroar, and Landorus Incarnate. So this matchup, this looks like the standard Cali Ice Miraidon build. It's usually Scarf Miraidon on this, and Scarf Miraidon's a lot easier to handle. Okay. I do like the Cali Ice. Cali Ice is good. How fast is my Koraidon again? I might be faster than the Miraidon, but it depends on speeds. Walking Wake is really good. I mean, really good. Do I want my Psychic Seed? I don't need my Psychic Seed. This is a tough decision. But I think I would want to pivot for Indeedee. Let's just go Koraidon, Indeedee, and Rhyperior. Man, I'm tempted to bring Wake, but it's just tough. I'm trying to figure out lines here because it's kind of a weird matchup. Mainly because you kind of need Miraidon so you don't get electric terrain slept by everything. I don't know what else you bring. Cali Ice probably makes sense. Amoonguss, Cali Ice. Okay, I mean, my Cali Ice lead is perfect then. Cali Ice plus the Koraidon. A pretty good offensive lead here. Oh, I also have Imprison, so I can go for Imprison. Did I just go for the Imprison turn 1? I think I'm going to go for the Imprison turn 1. I'm going to go for Imprison. And we're going to go for a... I think we U-turn here. The Cali Ice. It could Terra Water Protect, which is fine. Like Terra Water the Amoonguss, protect the Cali Ice. It's kind of a weird spot because the Cali Ice and Amoonguss are just threatened by really powerful Koraidon attacks. They double protect. There's no way you just protect Sport if I Glacial. Okay. I was about to say that would have been wild. That would have been wild. A U-turn. They don't know what item I am though, so that's good at least. And we get a Imprison off. So now we can go for a Glacial Lance into the Amoonguss, and we can go for a U-turn into the Amoonguss as well. They're going to retreat to Calyrex. I don't know what comes in. Urshifu, if they have it, I suppose? Or Incineroar? Incineroar comes in. That makes sense. Terra Water Amoonguss? Yeah. Okay, so they use their Terra, so that's actually perfect. Right now, Rhyperior is looking like in a pretty good spot because I'll get some decent damage into Amoonguss. I don't think Stone Edge would knock out, unfortunately, since they're usually Rocky Helmet. The problem is I didn't bring anything offensive against this Amoonguss. That hits Terra Water at least. I hit it outside of Terra. Rocky Helmet. We bring out Rhyperior because Indeedee doesn't do anything here. Yep. They can spore one slot. That's acceptable. Get a free glacial. I will Terra Water my Cali Ice. It's always Terra Water to Cali Ice plan. Or, yep. We will Terra Water. Go for the... I want to Leech Seed the Amoonguss. We're just going to protect. I'm not risking them going for fake out. Plus, I mean, they can afford to fake out here. So let's see. We just make sure the Calyrex is never threatened by the Incineroar, which is the big part here. And then we start trying to chip away at this Amoonguss with attacks. They do fake out. Yep, beautiful. I mean, I could have went Entity, but I don't really feel like going Entity is the right call, because then I have to reset the Imprison line. Do Spore. Beautiful. Should I Stone Edge? Baiting it. Baiting it. I think it's just best to go for Glacial, and you know what? I will fire out the Stone Edge. We have to move. I'm going for it. I'm going to target the Amoonguss. You go for U-turn into the Cali Ice. That's acceptable. I mean, what are they going to go into? Their own Cali Ice? They don't really they just don't do much damage. Also, if I Stone Edge the Cali Ice, that would be really bad for them. No, they go Koraidon. I mean, I guess you can drop a Draco. That's acceptable. Also, Scarf Koraidon. Unfortunately, Cali Ice stayed asleep here. Wait, they can't Spore though. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, wait, you went right Koraidon, but you can't Spore. Now this is a free Glacial Lance and Protect. Actually, no. My best line's to go Entity, right? No, it's to go Entity and go for high horsepower. Because they either retreat the Amoonguss or Rage Powder. Both are fine. Because I should live Draco Meteor if it's just Scarf. So let's see. They do retreat Amoonguss, so that's perfect. I get a free high horsepower off into Koraidon, and then I think Terra Water Cali Ice just wins. Because they didn't knock off my Clear Amulet. Yep. Draco Meteor, this should be Scarf, so it shouldn't KO Rhyperior. Yep. Barely survived, but it works. Nice, we land a high horsepower. Koraidon hangs on, which is a bit confusing, but I mean, this works out pretty well. This is a pretty safe follow me and rock slide. Because if they go Amoonguss, they take a bunch of damage with both Pokemon. I would love damage on the Incineroar because it's like one of the few Pokemon that can pivot around. They do switch out to Koraidon. I could have Heal Pulse, but this is okay too. They swap out into the Amoonguss, which is fine. Follow me. Okay, knock off. I'm able to hang on. I don't have safety goggles though, which is a bit unfortunate, but like damage, please hit the Incin. Okay. Still good damage regardless. We're gonna U-turn here. I think the safest place is just to protect swap here. Because then I can just put on pressure with like Glacial Lance, because I have taken a few turns of sleep, so I should be able to get a Glacial Lance off fine. Trying to think if it's gotta watch out for the Cali Ice, because the Cali Ice could get a bit annoying because they still have high horsepower access. We get the Psychic Seed boost now, which is good. And protect the Rhyperior as they go for U-turn in the Rhyperior, I imagine. Oh, they U-turn the Cali Ice. I mean, that was a thing that I debated about, but that's fine too. Like, who are you going out into that punishes this? There's really not a punish here. Like there's Cali Ice on their side, but like Cali Ice is like whatever. If you go Miraidon, you can't Spore. Did they Pollen Puff here? If they Pollen Puff, I just... Well, I guess they could bank on the sleep, I suppose. I think they're going to bank on the sleep. If I wake up, I just guarantee win here. There's no reason not to Rock Slide plus Glacial Lance here. Yeah, so I don't know what this plan is. I mean, they got healing on the Miraidon, but the Miraidon's still threatened. The only problem is I still can't get rid of this Amoonguss quickly. Yeah, they retreat the Amoonguss. They go out into the Ensign, I'm assuming. Oh, they go Calyrex, so they're about to take a lot of damage from the Rock Slide. And if I flinch the Amoonguss, I'm in a good spot. Okay, we wake up and we get the Glacial Lance off. Even then, this is still not even that bad of a position. Get a good Glacial Lance off. Please stop missing attacks, Rhyperior. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. They Pollen Puffs. Okay, that's fine. Like, gee, stop missing. But okay, we can Imprison. We can go Koraidon. Like, holy, that extra damage on Amoonguss actually matters because I think that put it in range of Collision Course the upcoming turn. They should high horsepower here. Like, man, there's so much that could have just happened if it hit its moves. But all right, Rhyperior switching out. It's like I'm using a Groudon out here. Koraidon coming in. This is what happens when I'm close to rank 1, huh? Bring out the Koraidon and Imprison. If they Glacial Lance, they get heavily punished, but it should be high horsepower. Oh, they Glacialed. Okay. They did Pollen Puff attempt, though, which makes sense. They crit, whatever. Let's go for Collision Course into Glacial. We want damage into the Amoonguss slot. He probably Rage Powder here, so I'm fine with this. Because you don't really want to risk your Cali Ice. Yeah. Is this instant? Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing. Instant comes in. It's taking damage? Unless you protect Amoonguss, but sure, you can fake a Pollen Puff, but there's not like that much you can do. Yeah, like, I don't know. I think this still is a stallmate for you. Because now Glacial Lance, like, I outspeed the Ensign. Or not outspeed the Ensign. I outspeed the Amoonguss. I can always just Glacial the next turn. Like, what's stopping me from clicking Glacial into Collision Course, the Ensign? Nothing. My Pokemon are really weak, though. The Leech Seed stuff. I'm curious if I'm faster than Miraidon. If I can confirm I'm faster than Miraidon, I think this game's a wrap. But we'll see. But we Glacial Lance and Collision Course. We take the knockout here into the Ensign, and then we have a very interesting spot afterward. They fake out, but again, I get the Glacial Lance off before the Amoonguss attack, so regardless, like, this is pretty acceptable for me. Okay. Pollen Puff? The Cali Ice, but I mean, it doesn't do any damage. Electric Train disappears. They can reset it. They might go Miraidon. If they go Cali Ice, then doesn't do anything. They go Miraidon. We just go Rhyperior and we go for Glacial Lance. Draco Meteor doesn't do nearly enough damage. Yeah. Like, they can Pollen Puff and swap out the Miraidon hard into the Cali Ice. But even then, like, I bring in Koraidon and I'm still threatening huge damage with Collision Course. So I think that's fine regardless. Because I can Trick Room and KO the Amoonguss, which would be really nice. They also reset Electric Terrain for me, so now I still don't have to worry about Spore. And they didn't actually, did they double out? Let's see. No, they didn't. So they went for Rage Powder. I think I just went off here because Lightning Rod. They'd go for Draco Meteor, but it's like KOing a Rhyperior. I take the knockout into Miraidon, and then that's good game. So beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. As we get a Glacial Lance off, KO the Koraidon. Excellent. Now we have a boost to Cali Ice, and I feel like as long as we don't miss a bunch of Leech Seeds and get crit by the high horsepower a bunch of times, we should have the game sealed. We're gonna go out into Koraidon as they go Cali Ice. How many turns of Sun are left? Didn't really matter too much, but I just want to confirm. Last turn of Sun. Okay. My play is always just to Leech Seed to Cali Ice and just go for Collision Course. Because high horsepower doesn't knock out Koraidon. And if I get rid of Amoonguss, it's great. And if they Rage Powder because they are worried about the Flare Blitz, I should just guarantee to win with Leech Seed. Collision Course into the Amoonguss, takes the knockout. Beautiful. And then I'm pretty sure I live high horsepower at this. And even if I don't live high horsepower, like I might still be fine. The problem is I don't have Protect on the Cali Ice, so stalling out the Leech Seed is harder. Okay, we do connect, so I think we're in a good shape to win. Especially with a faster Cali Ice. They go for high horsepower into Koraidon. Yeah, it doesn't KO, so I just guarantee to win. Because I can go into the click Glacial Lance, and then we just Flare Blitz the Cali Ice in the end game. They can't Trick Room to reverse the speed, so yeah, I do guarantee to win here. So, perfect. Perfect. A bit of a long one, but that's just how it goes sometimes. Luckily, even with the misses, which were getting frustrating because like I had no way to touch the Water Amoonguss, but I guess that means I should have brought Exeggutor against a Cali Ice. Or I mean, it's like possible. It's just I don't think that version is like easy to bring Exeggutor in, especially with Pollen Puff Amoonguss just threatening damage. So and Grass Knot doesn't do damage to the Amoonguss, so I have to Expanding Force, and that it does maybe like 60-70% Psychic Terrain. So I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, really solid. We were just able to dish out a good amount of damage across the board into like the Cali Ice, or not. Well, we were able to get huge amounts of damage across the board in general. Like we were getting good chip damage and outpacing my opponent because they made a few questionable decisions, like the Spore switch to Miraidon. Maybe they just forgot, but like those turns just really let me add up the momentum over time. We took the 3-turn sleep, but we were luckily able to get like the Imprisons off with the Cali Ice, exactly what we wanted, and just prevent their Cali Ice from really snowballing. The Amoonguss was kind of stuck on the field. It could support, but like it wasn't really doing too much. Even if they got Pollen Puff healing, like once I got those knockouts, like it started to snowball really bad. All right, we have Zacian, Miraidon, Farigiraf with Whimsicott, Urshifu, and Incineroar. This is the hyper offensive team that we've showcased. Emilio Forbes' Day 2 NAIC team, if I'm not mistaken. So this should be pretty interesting. Matchup wise, it's like okay. I don't think it's actually no. There's no Chiyu. Normally it's Chiyu over Incineroar. So this is actually a different team. Okay, that's something I'm gonna have to keep in mind then. You're not bringing Whimsicott in this matchup, right? No, I don't think you ever would. I think we're gonna do Zacian Exeggutor. I think Zacian Exeggutor is pretty fun. Actually, are we? Because if we do that, we would need Indity and we would need Rhyperior. That means no Cali Ice, which isn't bad because honestly, Cali Ice doesn't do anything in this matchup. But it might not be the greatest idea. I guess like if Rhyperior gets under Trick Room itself, though, it just destroys his team if prepped. So you know what? I will take the risk. I will take the risk. Cali Ice is a safer mode, but we'll have more fun, I think, if we do this. Because we have Expanding Force Pressure, which is really nice. Because this could be like Miraidon for Rig Lead, and Let me just say we could do some pretty powerful stuff to this combo. Like, I just don't think you ever lead Whimsicott in this matchup, because like you would, like, if you lead Whimsicott and I lead Calyrex, you're just in a lot of trouble. But then again, Calyrex isn't that great against their team still. But we'll see. They actually led Whimsicott. Okay, they led Whimsicott Koraidon. I'm shocked, but I mean, this is still okay. Because I do lead Exeggutor plus the Koraidon. It should be Tailwind and something. I mean, I have two plays. I could Sleep Powder, switch to Indity, or I could Expanding Force. I kind of like the Expanding Force more, I think. Did they Dazzle here? If they Tailwind Dazzle, it's annoying. I think I'm willing to risk that, though. I'm going to Expanding, and I'm going to swap to Indity. I could Trick Room, but like, I feel like I want the immediate damage. You know what? No, I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna Trick Room. I'm gonna swap to Indity. Because I'm worried if they do actually go for help, Tailwind Dazzle, it gets really weird. Because then I think both my Pokemon get two-shot by like Moonblast Dazzle afterward, and then I just instant lose. They didn't Dazzle, or they didn't. Okay, they Tailwinded, but no Terra. They just drop a Draco. That's fine. That actually works out really well for me, because now I get a free switch to Rhyperior, and I get to Expanding Force plus Rock Slide, and they don't have good switches to that. So, you know what? It wasn't the best, but I don't think this is that bad. I do not think this is that bad. We do go out into Rhyperior, and now we have Rock Slide Expanding Force. It covers the Sash Whims. It covers the Incineroar coming in, and we have Clear Amulet, so we'll two-shot. Like, nothing switches in well. I guess, like, maybe they could go Zacian, but Zacian takes a lot of damage, and then it's in range of a high horsepower, so that's fine. So, let's just go for the damage. They can't Encore my Trick Room Eater, so this is the perfect spot. And I would like to get rid of Whims because I don't want to deal with Encore in the electric terrain to mess up any plans for later. They also might not just switch in Zacian, because switching in Zacian's risky, because I could go for a ground type move, and if I go for a ground type move, it's really bad for them. They stay in. Just drop a Draco again? Oh, that's a bad miss. Okay. That's fine. Get the flinch on Koraidon. I mean, the Draco Meteor is not doing it that much damage, so that's fine. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Well, Expanding Force again. I'm going to high horsepower this time because this... Actually, no, I should Rock Slide, because I was thinking of high horsepower into Koraidon to cover for the Zacian this time. But the thing about doing that is the light screen. If the Koraidon stays in, it goes down. The Whimsicott gets a full light screen, which means it might survive the Expanding Force. I don't know. It's in terrain, though. It might have just KO'd, but they gave me both the lead, so curious on what the back mons are, but this is looking pretty good here. Expanding Force to KO the Whimsicott, so Whimsicott goes down. Excellent. What's the back? Is it Zacian? Is it Zacian Ursh? Zacian? I mean, it might not be Ursh, but we'll see. No, it is Urshifu. Okay. I have Fairy Terra, so that doesn't help me, and I have Psychic Terra. 2 turns of Trick Room. They have their last turn of Tailwind, so it's a bit awkward. I don't know if they have Protect. That's the thing. If they have Protect, it makes it really interesting. But I think I go for high horsepower plus Expanding Force into Zacian. Because they will KO the Zacian, and I don't know if... Maybe I should Terra Fairy if I'm making this play. But I don't know if they're going to double Protect. They could double Protect. If they double Protect, it's fine, though. As long as I hit high horsepower. Because if they double Protect, they still have their own Tailwind, which means they're faster than Exeggutor, but that's acceptable. Right now, both my Pokemon are faster than their side. That's the important part. They do go for Terastallization. Who's the Terastallizing? Zacian. I think high horsepower plus expanding force should always get the KO, even if it's water Zoc. I'm looking pretty good, assuming I connect my attacks. And they detected Ursh. Oh, they definitely attacked with Zacian then. So the double up was always the best play. Perfect. High horsepower. Beautiful. Because I didn't even know if Surging Strikes KO'd in the Sun. And I wasn't sure on the Urshifu item either. They might also not even have close combat. Oh, the Zacian survives. Okay, that's actually kind of weird. I have Sash Exeggutor though. No, I think we're okay. I think we're okay. We go in Koraidon. We double up the Ursh slot with Expanding Force plus the Collision Course, because the only way they knock out Exeggutor is a double up, right? If they go for the double up into the Exeggutor, then that's fine. Yeah, because then I get a Collision Course off an Ursh. Trick Room's over. Sun fades, but I Collision Course their Zacian because I'm Choice Scarf. I outspeed, and then that's good game, right? So yeah, and if they target Koraidon, Expanding Force just blows through the team. And the only way they can knock out Koraidon is with Player Off. So they go for a double protect, which is interesting. They go for the protect with Zacian. No, they were just always losing by going for protects. But that's only because they don't know I guess they don't know what the Exeggutor speed is, so that's perfect. So go for the Expanding Force. Also, this wasn't Sash Ursh, like it was 100% cooked. Yeah. It's like the only Ursh could not do damage to me. Like maybe it could close combat my Koraidon if they have it, but otherwise, like, it was going to go down to Collision Course. Then I Collision Course to Zacian again with the Choice Scarf. If they double the Exeggutor to take the knockout, yeah, the Koraidon line is exactly as I said. And if they ignore the Exeggutor, like, I KO the Zacian in response, because the only way they can take a knockout is through the Zacian. And yeah, I just had way too much pressure. So we will go for Collision Course plus the Expanding Force. And yeah, we also had Scarf Koraidon that will clean up this endgame. So beautiful. Goodbye, Zacian, and we do take that win there. A bit offensive, but that's just how it works sometimes, and Trick Room did work out. Surprised they just went for the Draco, but I guess it does technically make sense because by Fire Terra, they want to make sure to prevent the Fire Terra. I really thought the Entity switch might have been a bit telegraphed, but you know what? It worked out. It worked out. All right, we have Calyrex Shadow Rider, Incineroar Urshifu, Screamtail, Sinistra, and Terapagos. Interesting to see Sinistra without the electric seed stuff, but I mean, okay. It'd be pretty interesting how this is going to be approached. I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Exeggutor and Rhyperior do absolutely nothing here. Okay, Rhyperior can maybe do something under Trick Room, but like Exeggutor does nothing here. Maybe I could use it to sleep powder stuff. I guess like having a switch to Ursh is always pleasant, but then again, I have Koraidon. I think we do the Walking Wake lead because it puts on a lot of pressure against a lot of their combos. You know, I might just lead Exeggutor plus Walking Wake because I can always play the mind games on the fake out with the Incin. I don't want to lead Koraidon, I think, against this team because if they lead Shadow Rider, I think it gets scary. Yeah, if they lead Shadow Rider, it gets scary. I mean, I guess I could just swap, but I kind of want to incentivize the Expanding Force and Sleep Powder threat. So Pagos is going to lead with Incin. That's super ideal as we lead Walking Wake and Exeggutor. Does Hydro Steam knock out the Incineroar? Because I don't know if it's a Saltless Incineroar on this team. If it is, that's fine, I suppose. I feel like the Sleep Powder threat is something you have to respect. Do I even have to swap out here with Exeggutor? I don't even think I do. I think I'm just going to go for Hydro Steam and I'm going to attempt to Sleep Powder. They should also know to respect the potential Sleep Powder on the Pago, so it makes it a really tricky turn for them. I'm just going to go for the Sleep Powder. If they go for Fake Out to break my Sash, it's not that big of a deal. But maybe Entity in on the Shadow Rider is better. Maybe I should have thought about that turn a bit more. I think I should have thought about that turn a bit more. But they can protect the Pagos and like U-turn or Parting Shot. Okay, they just decide not to Fake Out. They did respect the Entity. It is a Solvest Incineroar, so that works out pretty well. I think this is our first sleep powder that we're going for. We do land, so we get to buy turns against the Pagos, which is good. Okay. Very nice. They U-turn. Pagos asleep. Knock off. Okay, yeah, they read the... I mean, that covers, I guess, the entity coming for either slot, so that makes sense. Okay, perfect. Now I like the idea of Snarl. I want to Snarl Expanding Force. I don't want to Snarl Sleep Powder. Yeah, I'm going to Sleep Powder the Ensign. It pressures every switch too, so it's like not that bad. Okay, Exeggutor, just Sleep Powder everything. You're going to switch out the Ensign. What are you going on into? Sinistra takes Snarl, which isn't bad for me. Screamtail, I mean, if I get a Sleep Powder out, that's pretty nice. Booster energy consumed. Speed booster. Okay, wonder if the last mon is Shadow Rider. Probably, right? They went for Protect, but it doesn't really... I mean, I do get the Snarl off, so that's nice. We break the Terra Shell. Nice. Good damage. And we hit the second Sleep Powder. Okay, Exeggutor. Okay, Exeggutor. Good job, Exeggutor. We're gonna Hydro Steam the Screamtail, and I think I'm gonna swap out a Koraidon. This spot is still not easy per se. Also, wait, that is not Leftovers Pagos, so I'm kind of curious on what Pagos it is. I would take damage on Koraidon, but I think it's fine. Let's see, bring out the Koraidon. And we want to get huge Hydro Steam damage off. If they Terrasilize with the with the Terapagos, that's fine. All right. No, they stayed in. Okay. They do wake up to protect. Sure. I guess that also makes sense, but I need the damage on Screamtail, which is the big one here, because that Pokemon's the most annoying to me. Good damage to Screamtail too. Like, geez. It might wake up the next turn and open his eyes. Who wants to bet on that? I'm going for Hydro Steam though, and I'm switching into Exeggutor because Exeggutor has done his job basically. I've stalled out so many turns at this point. Like, I'm just gonna Hydro Steam and make sure that they don't have access to KOing my Koraidon. I could Terrasilize, but they could also just go for the Terra Stars. They could Terrasilize, then Screamtail wakes up. Although they're in a really risky spot though, because they would have to rely on Screamtail waking up, but I am playing around the worst case of Screamtail waking up. So let's bring out Exeggutor. They retreat to Screamtail. Interesting. Into Incineroar. I mean, game rid of Incineroar is nice. That means I don't have to worry about Intimidate for the rest of the game, which means Collision Course is even more threatening. Do they go for the Terra with Terapagos? They do. Okay, I think this is a really good spot. This is a fantastic spot because I reset the weather. Yeah, this is really good. So Sunlight fades, but I KO the Incineroar. Photosynthesis wears off, but that doesn't matter. Hydro Steam will KO the Incineroar. Beautiful. So Incineroar eliminated, which means no more Intimidate. The Terapagos, Starstorm. If they call mine, that's whatever, realistically. Yeah, a Starstorm. It's -1 Starstorm since they didn't get Calm Minds. Starstorm coming out. Still does the numbers to wake, but that's acceptable. We go out into Koraidon. The problem is, I think the Screamtail is the last Pokemon, or the Screamtail is going to be a mind game here. They could go Shadow Rider, and if they go Shadow Rider, I'm fine. No, it's Screamtail, okay. Okay. Wait, my Wake went before the Screamtail, so my Wake is faster than the Screamtail. That means I actually have a very safe line here. Yeah, I have a safe line. Okay. Is Weather Ball 100 base powered and 150? Hydro Steam is 120 but stab, so I think Hydro Steam's always stronger. And then we go for Collision Course. Does Collision Course knock out the Pagos? I mean, this is Adamant Max Attack. I think it should. If they switch out into Shadow Rider, that's fine too. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. I mean, Screamtail protected. The next turn I was just going to Snarl Collision Course to slot, so that's fine. Hydro Steam going to come out, take the knock on Screamtail. Okay, how do I want to make sure I guarantee win this? Do I have a guaranteed win con? I have a very likely win con, but there is some things that can screw me over. Okay, I think the best play, they have to protect the Pagos. My best play is probably just to go for the Hydro Steam into the Calyrex and go on to Indity. I think this is my best line. The reason I think this is my best line is because... Oh, wait, I'm 18 HP, right? Am I going down to... Oh, no. Okay, no, I'm 16 HP. Okay, yeah, I go down to Life Up like I thought. Don't tell me they double protected. I mean, if they double protected, that's fine. Okay, yeah, this... I mean, I don't know why they double protected, but that works. Yeah, I think you have to commit there. Like, you have to make one play. Because that means you're just open up the next turn, but I guess... I never confronted for a Scarf, I suppose, so maybe that's why. But yeah, we go for Hydro Steam and we go for Shadow Ball into the Calyrex, and we should seal the win that way. Yeah, because they double protected, that's actually like a massive downswing in momentum for them, just because, like, I guess they could... If they double protect the Calyrex, even then, do I lose? I think they would still need to double protect, but yeah, they don't protect anymore, so... Calyrex is going down to this Hydro Steam plus Shadow Ball combination, and unless they somehow knock out the Indity, which I highly doubt they're able to, I should be fine. Oh my goodness, I completely forgot. How did I forget about that? I forgot they can run Pollen Puff. I forgot they can run Pollen Puff. Oh, that's... So it's not psychic. They reset. Do I have an out? Maybe. Gotta flare blitz the Cali, I think. I think they double protect anyway. They're just stalling out the Sun turns, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Okay. Single target Astral Barrage is gonna do a lot. I just don't think I win. Because if I had one more turn of Sun, I would win. But unfortunately, the Sun's about to wear out. I can go for Flare Blitz into Cali, but I lose to Koraidon. Man, I really thought it'd be Astral. Maybe I should have swapped out my Koraidon into my the Entity into Koraidon instead. But I haven't taken a Starstorm. I don't know. That doesn't guarantee a line either. My hope here. I think it's just Flare Blitz to Cali and then hope that for some reason Terrifier Flare Blitz can Oko the Terapagos with a crit. I think it's really unlikely. I assume it's both Pagos on this kind of build. But you never know. It was doing a lot of damage though. Maybe it's modest. I completely forgot that they could run Pollen Puff on this build. Sunlight fades. Yeah, I just gotta go for Terrifier Flare Blitz. Not much I can do. I don't even know Terrifier Flare Blitz KOs Pagos. I don't know. That Pagos is doing a lot of damage. Is it modest? We'll see. I highly doubt this KOs, but I mean, you go for the win con if you have it. Flare Blitz, Terrifier, max attack. Yeah, no shot. No shot. I was trying to get Indy to Shadow Ball because I was like, if I completely was like, okay, this is Astro Barrage Psychic, I'm fine, I can go for Shadow Ball. Then I just completely dodged that. They run Pollen Puff sometimes on the Pagos builds, and I just forget that because sometimes you just don't fight Pagos. Actually, I think we fought Pagos earlier with Pollen Puff, so I should have probably remembered that. I just completely blanked on that moment where there's Pollen Puff on the Pagos. Or Pollen Puff on the CSR on the Pagos build. But was there a safe line to guarantee that otherwise? I guess it'd just be Collision Course. And if I just Collision Course, because like the thing is, I swapped out the Koraidon fearing Psychic. Because I knew Pagos was going to protect her. I didn't think the Shadow was going to protect her. I was hoping to get Indy in so I can go for Collision Course into Shadow Ball the next turn and be fine. Because the thing about Scarf, where it's nice because I outspeed the Shadow Rider immediately, the problem is I'm locked into a move with the Ghost type. I think maybe I had to call switches earlier. Like I could have maybe read the switches earlier. Kyogre Overquill, Zacian, Chien Power, Rillaboom, Tornadus. A really cool offensive rain team. Okay. Pretty interested to see how this is going to work. I think lead-wise... I think it's just Calyrex, Indy. Yeah, I think Calyrex, Indy is pretty good. Koraidon for sure and back because it's just really good against this kind of build. And then last mon, I don't know if it's Wake or if it's... Exeggutor. I want to say Wake. Having a grass switching would be nice though, because I'm gonna Terra Water to Cali. I guess I do have Koraidon I can switch in. Yeah, I bring Walking Wake. Let's see. Interesting to see Overquill. I don't know if we'll see it in this game because I don't think Overquill is like their only dark type. Well, I guess they have POW too, so I guess it's not too bad. Let's see what they lead. Corn Ogre, okay. Versus Indy plus the Cali Ice. I think this is a safe Glacial Lance for me and a swap to... I want a Trick Room here. I could Trick Room. But I think I'd rather just Glacial Lance. Because it should be Sash on the POW, right? So the Torn shouldn't be Sash. If I KO the Torn, I'm in a great spot. I don't really need Cali Ice in this game other than getting rid of the Torn. Because I just want the... Well, I guess like it's nice for Rillaboom, but it's not like necessary for Rillaboom. We're going to go for Glacial Lance swap to Wake, I think. Because Wake will be able to absorb the Bleak Wind Water Spout decently. And we'll KO the Torn. Deny Tailwind, because they should never Tailwind in this position. Because like it makes no sense to Tailwind in this position. They Rain Dance to cover for Koraidon, which also makes sense. Water Spout. That's Specs. That has to be Specs. That did so much. Yeah, that has to be Specs, actually. Hey, I knock out the Torn. Great spot. Great spot to be in. I crit the Torn, doesn't matter. If I crit the Kyogre, it would have been nice for the damage, but yeah, we're in pretty good shape now. All right, we've gotten rid of their Tornadus, which is huge. We're gonna see the Zacian come in. Okay. I'm just gonna go for a Weather Ball swap to Koraidon. It is my best play. Especially if they don't expect it, because if they don't expect it, like they just guarantee lose here. And even if I get this play wrong, like they can only play rough knockout the... I assume they play rough knockout the Wake, but we'll see. Sun up. Photosynthesis, we have a Weather Ball. Let's see if they Terra or not, but I don't know what Terra they would have. Dragon? No, they don't have Terra, so I get a Weather Ball. The speed boost will be allowing us to outspeed the Zacian, take the knockout on Zacian. Kyogre probably just gonna Water Spout again. It's looking pretty good for us in the end game. Yep. Okay, the line worked out perfectly because you don't want to trigger him in this spot because you have the Scarf Koraidon that sweeps. They bring out the Rilla. Yeah, this is game over. How do I want to match this up? I guess it's just Entity and click Weather Ball into the Rilla. I'm gonna be forfeited. Yeah, like they lost instantly. They lost instantly. The first two turns were just perfect. Like I got the KO on Torn. I didn't get knocked out with my Cali. If they had Water Terra, it actually would have been scary. But they always have to respect the Koraidon, so Rain as Water Spout makes sense. The fact that I'm Psychic Seed actually just changed a lot there because I was able to tank the Water Spout and KO the Torn. And Torn is the biggest threat because once I get a Torn, then they have no speed control, and then Scarf Koraidon goes crazy against them in Sun. All right, we have Tornadus, Landorus, Incarnate, Incineroar, Kyogre, the Rillaboom, and Zacian. Looks like a pretty standard offensive Torn Ogre team. Oh, I mean, the problem, I would love to Water Terra, but they're, oh, actually, Koraidon's a good matchup against this team. There's a lot of things that could go right or wrong here. Am I going with Wake Lead? The problem is the Zacian's really annoying. I feel like my best mix-up is just leading both Psychics. You might be thinking, why am I leading both Psychics here? But there's like Sun matchup. There's the Entity Psychic Terrain that just messes up so many things if they get it wrong. So I think I could play that mind game to their success. Like Walking Wake was actually pretty decent against this team, but my problem with Walking Wake is I'm not exactly a huge fan of how Zacian is dealt with. Oh, we're gonna see Kyogre Tornadus. Okay, that's fine. So I have a few different things that I can do. I can just Glacial Lance. Terra Water is pretty safe here. I could also go Koraidon, but that's a bit risky. Like going Koraidon Sleep Powder is just very risky. I think this turn I would just want to go for Terra Water and swap into Entity. The Scarf Koraidon is really good if they don't go for Tailwind, and I think they're probably likely going to go for Bleak Wind Water Spout. They might also Rain Dance to cover for the... They might read the Koraidon coming in. So they might Rain Dance. Because I could like go Sleep Powder and just go into Koraidon, and that would be scary for them. So there's like a lot of scary options that they have to cover. So... you have to really think about this. I think my safest play is just to Terra Water, go for Glacial, but we'll see. I wonder who the back is. I feel like it's Zacian, but I wonder what the last one is. Is it going to be Rilla? You go for Bleak Wind. Yep. You go for Water Spout. That's fine. Cali took a bit more damage than I was hoping for, but granted, I think this is still pretty acceptable. Because I do get the Glacial. And I KO Torn, which is fantastic. Okay, nice. Now I get to go Koraidon, and I'm in a great spot, I think. So we're going to go out into Koraidon. Get the Sun up. You go Rillaboom. I want the Cali Ice to swap here. I feel like their best place to Terra Fire the Rilla. I feel like their best play is to Terra Fire the Rilla. Because I could just threaten Flare Blitz into Rillaboom and Trick Room, and then they're in a really awful spot. I think I'm going to Collision Course the Kyogre. Because even if they swap to Zacian, like, it's still a pretty good trade for me. Yeah, because Zacian came in, but they're about to take a ton of damage from the collision course. Granted, if I just Flare Blitz to Kyogre, I'm in an amazing position, but I didn't know if they were going to guarantee swap out or not. We bring out Exeggutor. They do Terra the Rilla, so this is what I expected. Okay, perfect. It's Grass Terra? They just Grassy Glide? I would have just Flare Blitzed. They did Grassy Glide, so this works out, I suppose. Did nothing to Exeggutor. Good damage to Zacian. I think my best play is to go Cali Ice and just go for Collision Course into the Zacian. I think they're going to play... I already Terra, so they can just play rough if they don't know if I'm Scarf. And I just Collision Course the Zacian for the knockout. And otherwise, they're just going to U-turn my Exeggutor slot, right? So it's just better to get my Cali Ice in on a U-turn. Or if they hard switch. I could see hard switch too. But I think hard switch makes sense because he'd want to avoid the sleep powder threat. Yeah, exactly. So this is Kyogre. Beautiful. Great spot to be in. Great spot to be in. Because now I have a nice pin with Glacial Land's Collision Course, I'm pretty sure. Yep, I KO'd the Zacian, I'm pretty sure, even without the boost. Yeah, perfect. I win. Nice. At least I'm pretty sure I win, but I think it's really hard for them to... Maybe I don't win, guaranteed. If I had Protect, I would guarantee win here. I mean, I always Glacial Lands with the Cali. The question is, what am I doing Koraidon? Am I switching out into Eggy, or am I just going to go for a Collision? It might not be bad to Collision twice, but I might run out of PP before I beat the Kyogre. I think we go Egg. Also, I'm worried about how offensive that Rillaboom is. This is actually nowhere near over. Wait, they fake out. Okay, no, I just win. I'm surprised they did. Oh, they have Thunder. But that actually works out in my favor. So, oh, I lived that Thunder. No paralysis either. So I get the Glacial Lands off in the Rillaboom and I take the KO. GG. There are some shocking survivals in this one. If it's Thunder, does it even have Ice Beam? Oh no, my best play is just to go Koraidon in grass, not the Kyogre. I can't miss the Kyogre, which is huge. And the Kyogre is put in range of the grass, not confirmed. So, interesting endgame. I'm really surprised they went for Terra Grass. I thought they had defensive Terra, and I thought like, oh, they could fire Terra here, stay in with Kyogre, go for Ice Beam, or maybe they switch to Zacian. Both are fine because Collision Course is threatening a lot of damage. And like otherwise I could have just Flare Blitz pinned the Rilla, and then I think Cali Ice could have been in a really fantastic spot. But you know what, sometimes you don't question it, we just take it. All right, we have Raging Bolt, Tinglu, Calyrex, Shadow Rider, Terapagos, Rillaboom, and Incineroar. Okay, this is quite something because Terapagos is definitely not a mon you would expect too much here. What am I going against this? I think the Ice is pretty good here. Rhyperior is not good here. It is not. Can Eggy be good here? I would say probably not. I can do things, but I don't think they're like amazing. I'm kind of curious on the Terapagos is probably... I don't know if it's Calm Mind. It should be, because I don't think it could be really specs on this team. Maybe Meteor Beam. Meteor Beam would make sense too. I think we're gonna do Cali Ice plus the Wake. Yeah, I think the Wake is fine. Koraidon Entity back. This Exeggutor is really tough to bring here. Sure, I could sleep powder stuff, but I'd rather go with something consistent. The Indie Psychic Terrain for the Cali Ice is super valuable. And I do have Shadow Ball for the Shadow Rider, so that's pretty good. I also don't want to be swept by endgame Astral Barrage, which would be really awful. Calyrex Shadow Rider Terrapago, sure. Versus Walking Wake and Cali Ice. Are they actually specs? I just don't feel like it should be. Trying to think about this. Is my best play to switch out the Calyrex, or is it to switch out the Walking Wake into Inity? My best play is probably to... They don't have instant. No, they do have instant. Okay. My best play here is probably just to go for Trick Room, swap to Inity. Yeah. I don't want to take too much damage here. I guess this could be Wisp Calyrex, so maybe the play was to stay in, but we'll see. I think Inity with that Psychic Seed will just allow the Cali to be able to tank the attacks, and then we fire off like really strong Glacials or Leech Seeds afterward, and heal Pulse as well. It is Wisp. Okay, so it's Wisp Cali. That is not something I was debating about, so I guess I'll have to worry about Snarl later, but it's okay. They do go for Calm Mind, sure. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is gonna be a hard one. This is gonna be a hard one. We're gonna go for a Leech Seed, I guess, in the Pagos. I think the play's to reverse Trick Room. Oh, they protect Calyrex. What? I thought they were gonna go instant and just Calm Mind. Okay, that works. I get a free Leech Seed, and then I can set up a Shadow Ball scenario, so this is not awful, I suppose. Toxic. Why are you Calm Mind toxic? What? Okay. Sure. We'll take the Leech Seed from the Pagos. Why are you Leech Seed toxic? I'm just gonna fire off Glacial Lance at this point and Shadow Ball the Calyrex. If they go instant, they go instant, but there's not really much I can do. They go for Pollen Puff. Oh, to get damage. Interesting. It's a lot. Air Starstorm double up. Okay. Pollen Puff Wisp makes sense. Okay, I can bring out Koraidon and threaten a lot of offensive pressure though, because Glacial Lance should still do a decent amount to Calyrex Shadow Rider. Yeah. His leftovers on the Pagos. Okay, I can play out of this. I will need Wake healthy because I just don't beat the Incineroar otherwise. We're gonna go out into Wake here because we threaten the Snarl pressure into the Shadow Rider. I think we just go for Snarl Glacial because it covers every switch other than, I guess, Instant, but I don't think you're risking Instant on a Hydro Steam switching. Let's see. I could be taking a lot of damage. I think Wake would live to double up, but we'll see. I mean, it is an Astral Barrage and a Starstorm potentially. They go for Pollen Puff to heal. Oh, that's actually perfect. Because I get the Snarl off in the Pagos and I KO the Shadow Rider. Please hit the Shadow Rider. Oh wait, no, it should hit both. I need to hit both actually. Okay, good. Ooh, I actually don't knock out the Shadow Rider. Wait, what? I'm surprised. That's Life Orb Snarl, but that's actually good for me because I get the attack boost off that. They go for Toxic, sure. It's actually funny because they burn my Cali Ice. They can't Toxic my Cali Ice. So it's actually a funny situation. As we get a Glacial Lance off again, and we get the KO into their Cali, and the Pagos again is chipped. So this is not an awful situation. We got rid of the Shadow Rider without taking any damage. Surprised they went for the Pollen Puff as the play, but I guess that works out. I do get some Leech Seed recovery. The Calyrex is kind of just comfortable chilling at this rate. Like, sure, I'm toxic with the Wake, but it's not like that bad. If they go Rillaboom, I play just a Glacial Lance, Hydro swap out into Koraidon. If they go Instant, I just Hydro Steam and Glacial. Yeah, like if they go Instant, that's fine. So we're gonna go for a Glacial because we just got to get damage at this point, and we're gonna go for a Hydro Steam into the Instant because it covers any switch too. Like they have no switch into Glacial Lance plus Hydro Steam. Like Rilla is gonna take a bunch of damage. They had Raging Bolt and Tinglu as other options, and those just don't take it well. They're gonna go for Terastization so they can get rid of the Psychic Terrain, so they can actually go for Fake Out. I don't think Fake Out Starstorm and the Toxic damage will KO because it's a neutral Pagos. And I'm still building up the damage into Pagos, which is really good. Go for Fake Out, yep. Starstorm is fine. Yeah, as you can see, Wake takes it pretty easily. We get a Glacial Lance off, so we get more chip onto the Pagos. And like, we are starting to run out of Glacial Lances, which is a bit concerning, but for the most part, like, I don't think this is that awful of a position. There's a decent chance Instant switches out to Rillaboom. Because you don't want to take a Hydro Steam, right? I think my play is just a Glacial Lance and go for a Draco Meteor. It is Life Orb Draco Meteor, so it should do a lot anyway. I guess if it's a Assault Vest, it can stay in, but I don't know if it's a Assault Vest Instant. Yeah, they do switch out too, so I am right on this. Okay. Raging Bolt. Beautiful. Beautiful. Give me that Raging Bolt. Give me that Raging Bolt. Give me that Raging Bolt. Hit the Draco, please. Nice. Goodbye, Raging Bolt. I'm willing to take that trade because as long as I set up Koraidon in a good spot, I do win. All right, so Raging Bolt went down. Beautiful. And we're able to get a Glacial Lance off. They're going to KO the Wake, but that's fine. I think Calyrex can beat the Pagos one-on-one as long as I get more chip damage. It could be a mind game afterward. We'll see. I get a free Glacial Lance single tart now. Like, I am doing actually decent damage to the Pagos. And I'm out healing it with... I'm out damaging its leftovers with Leech Seed. So now Koraidon comes in and we go for Collision Course plus Glacial Lance into the Instant. And we're in good shape. I guess like Terastallization wise, I should have went for the Terra on the Walking Wake now that I think about it, because the Stellar Draco would definitely KO if it's not a Assault Vest Instant, and I don't think it's a Assault Vest Instant on this team. And if I did, it would have actually, like, it didn't, like, I was still gone down anyway, but like it just punished the Instant harder since I don't have to use my Fire Terastallization in this matchup. And I'm not using my Water Terastallization either. I thought I maybe could if I get rid of Pagos early, but I think we're just going to go for Collision Course plus Glacial Lance into the Instant. Yeah, we KO the Instant with Collision Course. Beautiful. And now the Pagos shouldn't be able to beat us because it's neutral and it's just not doing enough. They call mine too, so yeah, that was definitely a loss there. Because like I could have Collision Course to Terapagos, so that's why like I thought maybe they might go for like a Protect Willis play potentially in the last ditch effort. If they fake out, it doesn't change much. I get a critical hit, but like the critical hit doesn't matter at this point because I mean my Koraidon with Choice Scarf just outspeeds in Collision Course, and even if they stall out the Collision Courses, they don't have enough turns because the Leech Seed just is going to drain away the Pagos at this point. So yeah, we are able to win. Beautiful. I felt like we just put on good offensive pressure. I think the turn they went for Pollen Puff, if they went for Astral, it would have actually made quite a bit of a difference. I still think I would have had decent amount of offensive pressure, but it definitely would have been way scarier. But yeah, we were just able to out pressure this team for the most part. So Collision Course into Glacial Lance, and yeah, nice, perfect. All right, let's go over the games. In the first game, my calcs were way off. Max attack Rhyperior damage output was actually really disappointing in this one. I know it was probably max defense Incineroar because on the original build it had it, although I thought it was going to be a different spread, but man, it was missing knockouts. Thankfully, my opponent decided to never protect or switch, so I was able to have no problems in the end, but it could have been really scary. In game 2, Terra Water Amoonguss is really annoying, but I was just able to do more damage than they were able to, and once they started losing mons, it snowballed all at once. In game 3, Trick Room Exeggutor was able to put in huge work against the Tailwind stuff, and the combination of Expanding Force, High Horsepower, and Rock Slide was just really difficult for my opponent's hyper offensive team to really handle. In game 4, forgot about Pollen Puff, Calyrex, Shadow Rider, and that was the one thing that screwed over my line. But unless I Snarl, I don't think there was a way to maneuver around it because of the awkward part about being locked into the Collision Course and the Ghost and the normal typing, which just made it super awkward because I needed to be able to at least knock out one of them while being able to reset a move. So I don't think there was a super safe line. Maybe if I kept the Screen Tail alive, went for Snarl onto the Calyrex Shadow Rider, maybe, but although if they went for Dazzle, it could have been scary. I think there was maybe still a line though, because if I switch an entity and click Snarl, and assuming I do land, it's actually a potential winnable situation, because if I get Koraidon into Collision Course, the Scream Tail alongside the Terapagos, I can go for like Terrifier, Collision Course alongside Shadow Ball, and then they wouldn't be able to get a double attack in my entity knockout. So maybe it was possible. In game 5, first 2 turns were just perfect. I was able to one-shot the Torn, and I was able to KO the Zacian turn 2, especially thanks to that switch with the Koraidon and to go for the Weather Ball, and yeah, they just couldn't do much about it. In game 6, the start was great. Eliminated Tornadus, but Terra Grass Rillaboom was not something I thought I would see here. Could have been dicey, but since the Kyra seemed to lack Ice Beam because of that Thunder, I think Koraidon would have won anyway, as long as I still made the same plays of switching out to Koraidon, but it could have actually been a little bit rough. In game 7, this was Toxic Coal Mine Terapagos. I played a little bit aggressive against the Calyrex Shadow Rider, and it absolutely paid off, especially that Snarl really coming in handy. Was able to get chip, was able to just brute force the Terapagos, get rid of the partners, and then in the end I was just able to clean up very safely. So how was the team? It's definitely a tricky team. You do have a lot of tools, but the thing is there's obviously a lot of counterplay. You have terrain, you have Rillaboom, there's a lot of weather in the format as well, with like Kyogre that you have to worry about. The Choice Scarf on Koraidon has that cool speed advantage, and it can catch your opponent off guard, yet at the same time it can definitely be awkward locking into a move. So it is definitely something. It's also vulnerable to the Intimidate, so that is one thing you have to keep in mind. However, team was definitely an interesting one. I don't think we got to use Imprison Trick Room, but we were able to shut down like the Cali Ice on our opponent's side from clicking Glacial Lance, which let Koraidon Rhyperior not be forced to go for Terastallization, which was cool. So it was able to put in work alongside Exeggutor, and Rhyperior was able to do some stuff. Damage a little bit lacking for its really high attack stat, but it is what it is. If you would like to try out the team, rental code is on the screen. Hopefully it's still available by the time the video comes out. If you would like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be linked in the description down below. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always.